Hey Flower Tribe, welcome to my video, how to make a floating Santa candle arrangement. So now I'd like to show you how I make this beautiful centerpiece using fresh cranberries that float in some water, and it uses some floating candles and some really fun ribbon that we have. And then we kind of paired it with a whole bunch of fresh holly and some pine cones and pines, and it makes for a really beautiful holiday arrangement, either for like your dining room table or even for like a table that might be in your den, or where people are kind of sitting around and playing like, board games or whatever. It's just kind of fun to glance over and see these really pretty floating candles, kind of dancing with light during the holiday season. And so let's dive right in. So guys, one of my favorite things to do during the holidays is to build out beautiful holiday decor for your house using beautiful pieces from nature. I just went outside and I gathered a whole bunch of clippings from some of the evergreens that are surrounding my property, and then I just got some fresh cranberries from the store and a little bit of ribbon and some glassware, and then I just kind of got started. So I'm going to show you exactly how I built out these arrangements today. I wanted to show you what two of the finished products look like ahead of time, because a lot of times you can't find the exact same glassware that I'm using or the exact same ribbon, and that's okay, because I want to show you different versions of what this project can look like depending on what some of the materials look like that you can find by you. I used just like this really furry, like little ribbon. This was on an actual spool. It was a whole bunch of this. So this is the bottom piece. And then this is just some regular red velvet ribbon that we used. And then on top of it is a little piece of black satin ribbon. And we just basically used a glue gun. We got all these pieces in place. We did the red one first and then layered the white on top of it to make it like a clean line. And then we layered this black satin ribbon on top of it to once again make those lines nice and clean. And then we just basically filled it with some water. So I just had like a water pitcher. You can just bring it over to your sink. I added some water. And we have some floating candles. And a lot of times you can find like floating candles at like the dollar store or Michael's or AC Moore. I'll put a link to my Amazon shop page below, and I'll also put some of these items there that are either the same thing or similar that you can just do like some instant shopping right away if you like. And then I also just went to my grocery store. I went to ShopRite and I just got some fresh cranberries. These I found in like the produce section. They were like close to like where the berries were. I also have a glue gun, just like a little cheapo glue gun that I used to death. And I've got some scissors, and this is a different type of ribbon. So I'm going to show you right now. I don't have the exact same materials that I used to build these out, but I'm going to show you how to make it, and it's going to be just as pretty. So this ribbon that I had left over actually has like a whole bunch of gold on it. I know I don't have to worry about the top and the bottom of this gold piece, because I'm going to wind up putting some of this fuzzy ribbon on top, and I'm going to put that black ribbon on top also. So sometimes you can even go into your holiday gift wrap and just kind of pull out some materials instead of having to buy brand new stuff. And I love doing that. I love the idea of working with what you got. So I found a similar piece of ribbon. This guy is by no means the same as this first one, but I did find this in my holiday gift wrapping, and I realized it was kind of, like mangled and is very wrinkly and stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it like a quick iron just to kind of get rid of those kinks, because you do want it to have like a really beautiful streamlined look at the end. So I just have a little iron set up over here. I'm going to give it just a quick little once over. Sometimes these little steps really make the difference. Okay, so now this guy's good to go. If you don't have the red ribbon in your holiday stash, sometimes you can find the pre-made bows at like the dollar store or ShopRite or our local grocery store, and they're usually only like $1 or $1.50. And I just kind of, I cut the tail off, and I can actually make two of these out of this now. What a bargain. And I just took that ribbon and I wrapped it around the vase just to kind of eyeball how much that I needed. So that looks pretty good. Now I know that this white fuzzy piece is going to wind up on the bottom. So I know that I want to raise this up a little bit. So I'm going to raise it up probably about 1 inch. And then I'm just going to glue this piece here. I'm going to take a little bit of the glue gun, make a little thin line. And I always work with either a cookie sheet underneath me or a cutting board so that I don't ruin my table. Because yes, I've done that before by accident. I'm gonna bring it up. And then I'm gonna wrap it around. And then I'm gonna take the other side, once again, give it like a little glue line. And kind of clean up the little glue that comes out of the side. Okay, so now you've got your first layer. And then I started showing you before that this guy is just a, like a fuzzy little string. I can show you better here. I'm actually going to cut this so I can show you exactly what this looks like. This was just a giant piece of, almost like a piece of ribbon that you can find in Michael's or AC Moore or some of your local craft centers. And it comes on like a spool. And it's just really fun to use for this project. So we just kind of wrapped this around the bottom and gave it that little, like that little glue gun. A little bit here on the feathers. You don't need a lot. And then just watch you don't burn yourself as you're pressing it in there. And that kind of holds that Santa fluff in place. And that's it. But once again, you're not always able to find all these pieces, that I'm using the exact ones. So this was kind of fun. We found this either at Five Below store or something. It's like a little doggy coat for like a little tiny dog. And it's kind of beat up. This was just like a little holiday. I used to use it as actually like a little decoration on my tree. So we used something like this and we just kind of cut it. Once again, it was an inexpensive piece. It's kind of beat up and I'm not going to use it anymore for a decoration. You can tell it's kind of seen the test of time. But we can use these pieces as we're building out this project. So I had a similar one that we just cut the fluff from. And I'm going to use that as the fluff on the bottom here. So I've got a crease here. I'm going to wind up putting this other crease down here so that both the creases are on the same side, just in case you want to hide them. And then if you'll notice, this fluffy piece doesn't even wrap all the way around, so I had to use two different pieces. But once again, work with what you got, guys. It's fun. It's great to recycle. You save money. Everybody loves that, especially around the holiday season. And then I'm just going to finish it off with this little piece. And now you've got your bottom piece done. Okay, now we're gonna move on to our little Santa belt, which is the black ribbon. Once again, I'm gonna find where that crease is because that's where I'm gonna start the glue. I'm gonna make sure that I don't have any of these little wispy things popping out, especially when you're working with like satin. Sometimes that happens. Just make it nice and clean. Oops. So sometimes to get rid of that little tattered end, you can even just give it like a little bit of a clean edge here. So I'm going to put a little drop of glue on here. I'm going to give it a cleaner edge by just folding that in. And now you have a cleaner edge. Okay. So I'm going to put a little drop of glue on that clean edge. Gonna line it up with my other guys. And you'll notice I put it just a little bit to cover the red, just so it has a cleaner line, and then it kind of sits above it. And then I'm gonna wrap it around. Make sure you do it super tight. Get rid of all that little air pocket. And that's it. You can just do a little bit of cleanup over here with some chunks. Kind of let them harden and remove them. So that's the back where all the mechanics are, and you can always kind of hide that. And this is more of the front. Isn't that cute? So now you've got your little Santa part, and now this is the super fun part. You can have a couple choices here, guys. You can either make them kind of clean lined, like this guy has no holly in the middle of it. This one we actually did the Santa belt towards like the poofy more towards the middle, so it's got a clean line on the bottom. Or you can just put a little bit of holly, fresh holly, in the middle, but make sure that you cut back most of the sticks, because no one really wants to see sticks floating around. You're really interested in a lot of these greens. I don't usually use the holly. I take the berries out of the holly because sometimes after like 2 or 3 days they get kind of bloaty and yucky. So if you're going to use the berries with the holly, it looks great, but only for like a day or two. Or you could just take it out completely, then you don't have to worry too much about it. So we just put a whole bunch in here. And then I'm going to add a little bit of water. I'm going to add some fresh cranberries. And the cranberries float, so that's kind of fun. And then we're just going to add our candle. And you can make the height of the water any way you like. I'm actually going to add a little more water to this guy. You can make it come right up to the top if you like. And then we're just going to float the candle on top. Isn't that pretty? And let's see what this looks like with all of our other guys. And voila, all done. So you can kind of move these around. You can have like either one or two or groupings of three. And it looks really fun on your kitchen table or like I said in your den. And isn't that fun and super simple? I wanted to tell you about some of the wood that we use for this centerpiece. So we had a whole bunch of trees that went down during some of the storms that we had recently. And Sheldon and my son Ryan went out there and they cut a whole bunch of it back. My son Jack was out there helping them. And that's where we got a lot of these wood slices from. But I know it's not always easy to come across wood slices. So here's what you could do. Some of the stores, once again, Amazon, AC Moore, Michael's, craft shops, a lot of times they'll actually sell like these thin slivered slices of wood for, art projects just like this. So you'll probably be able to find them there. And if not, guys, you don't have to actually put it on wood. Like you can just put this beautiful display by itself with some greens on it, either on like a tray or a serving platter. So here is the centerpiece with a gold tray beneath it. And this is actually a plastic tray, but it looks more expensive than plastic. But it's covered by tons of beautiful fresh greens and our gorgeous Santa arrangements. So it looks very, very elegant and fancy. And so I think I found that tray at like Michael's a few years back. It was super cheap. I bought like 2 or 3 of them. And I'm just adding a whole bunch of greens and pine cones, and I'm just kind of scattering them all about. And it's just like a really beautiful look for this centerpiece. Thank you so much for joining me in this video, and I will see you guys in the next holiday video. Thank you so much for joining us in this video, and please say hi to us over on my Cranberry Fields Instagram page. You can also find us on TikTok, and I made a whole bunch of podcasts for you. You can find those wherever you listen to your podcast. And know that I made a whole bunch of online flower courses for you with easy to follow tips on how to grow beautiful flowers just like these in your own gardens. I will put all of those in descriptions below. And please also let me know where you're viewing this from in this great, big, beautiful world. I love to see how our flower tribe is growing around the globe each week. Also check out our Kelly Lehman's Flower Tribe Facebook group because there's thousands of gardeners from all over the world and they're asking and answering loads of garden questions over there. And know that YouTube has allowed me to have a super thanks button attached to this channel. And if you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee or let us know if you appreciate these videos, that would be terrific. Or you could just give us a like or a comment below. I would appreciate that. And I will see you guys in the next video.